Gullah Wars. The Gullah
Mhm.
Wars, the mainstream Westerners call it the Seminole Wars. Our people, well, you can tell who's telling the story by what they call the war in the land of flowers. If they call them Seminole Wars, they the invaders. If they call them Geechee Wars or Gullah Wars or Gullah Geechee Wars, they us, talking
Mm.
about what happened to us. But because we don't know the history correctly, because they intentionally, with malice and forethought, as they say in law, taught us history wrong so that our perception of history and what happened to us would be clouded in a mystery. We was the Masonic secret,
Mm.
right? And they wanted us to remain in perpetual ignorance as to who we were in our station on the land. Well, Big Mama told me to get her shit back, and Mama told me don't let nobody take my brothers and sisters shit. And so when they tell me they stole our land, and I look out my window and it's still here, I want to know where they put it. So if the land's still here, even if they stole it, it's in a position for us to reclaim it, right? So this is what we've been working on. Everybody got to do their part according to their level of understanding.
Mhm.
The higher your understanding evolve, the more you are relied on to inform the clans, the collective clans is what we call it, across the land of the threat and what we need to do as a people in order to face and overcome the threat. Big Mama always leave us a way out. No matter what kind of fuck up we get in, no matter who come here, she got one of her boys that's gonna come through and fix that shit. I'm number 7.
So let me ask you a question, Rod. If so, you said the Gullah Wars and all that was like an in-home like type of fight.
No, no, no. We
No.
was fighting invaders.
Okay.
The
Okay.
invaders don't call them Gullah Wars. The invaders call them Seminole Wars.
Okay.
We
Okay.
call them Gullah Wars, Gullah Geechee Wars, and Geechee Wars. They are the same thing. They was the because that was the main battleground, Florida.
So so the Dirty Moors are the one that brought the let me word this right. The genome, well, what we would consider Columbus and all that stuff is,
Columbus was a Tawny Moor. He was a mulatto.
oh really?
Yeah.
I didn't know
And his
that.
boss was Pedro del Negro, the navigator on the ship. He was a
Hmm.
blackamoor. That nigga was black, make me and you look light skinned.
What?
Yeah. That's the whole
Mm.
trick. Because they have the same hair texture and skin tones as us, that they can come and mix in with us and we won't know us from them.
So
This
they
was
make.
this was a challenge under George Washington in a ceasefire agreement called the Paris Accord, and we know it as the Treaty of Peace and Friendship.
Mm.
The Paris Accord was signed in Paris, France. The significance of that is the memorial that's left in France, in Paris, right? It's called the
Hmm.
Eiffel Tower. It's a
Okay.
homonym. I fail,
Mm.
right? And so if it's the Eiffel Tower and it's commemorating somebody's fall, whose land is it on? What's Paris' whole name is Parthénon Le Isis, which means city of Isis. So now you know that this was the fall of the matriarchy that they commemorate. But we got to have a tale coming from France to lay the book wide open. Do you know what that would be?
No, enlighten me.
Well, she got a book wide open. She carry a light in one hand as
Oh,
a
the
torch.
okay, so the Statue of Liberty.
Yep, she's
Well,
a
what they
drag
now
queen.
call that.
That's a drag queen. The
Because
Statue of Liberty is a drag queen.
right, because they first sent, what was the first statue? It was of the melanated woman, correct?
Right, but the Statue of Liberty is and always was a drag queen, a cross dresser, a sissy, a trans
It looked
testament.
like a dude.
It's always been a man because it represents the Pope.
But they want us to believe that's a
If you stupid enough to fall for it,
woman.
She got a whole man face.
Man, you hear me?
Okay, now the Pope, and this is how you know. Notice she's sitting there with the book wide open.
Mm-hmm.
What book is she holding? Don't nobody know what book the bitch holding.
I
It's,
don't.
it's the fucking Bible. Why is she holding the Bible wide open? Right? This is the reason why. The Bible is not a spiritual text. It's a contract, a riddle, and it is a code for those who reach a certain attainment to follow a star map in order to unlock the secrets of who we are. So the Pope is the drag queen who's masquerading in the Black Madonna seat as the queen of heaven and earth. But he can't sit on the real queen seat. It's suspended 30 feet over his seat. Because if a man sit in his seat, they forfeit. The man,
Mm.
nobody with testicles supposed to sit in the seat. So they suspended it in the air so the janitor mopping the goddamn floor don't get tired. So, ooh, I'm gonna have a seat right here. Right? So if he get up there, he got to get a ladder, a 30-foot ladder. Right? That's what we used to call the House of Sybil, where all of the oracle priestesses of the earth fell up under what we call the 12 daughters of Isis. And they went to different regions of the world once they was trained to be the matriarch that helps everybody else with their development spiritually. All that shit
Mm-hmm.
got hijacked by Yahweh and them. Yahweh is Zeus.
Yeah, I know.
That's Enlil in Sumer. Same bitch ass nigga. Alexander's father.
But
Right?
that's who a lot of the people that's who a lot of people worship, like Yahweh, the Hebrew Israelites, and all, and some isn't it Muslims too?
Well, even Jehovah's Witnesses. Jehovah is the
Yeah, and
English.
Jehovah's Witnesses.
Jehovah is
Yes.
the English rendition of Yahweh.
And they don't have no idea.
Most of 99.9% of them don't. And the ones that do ain't telling it.
So let me ask you a question. So I saw in the media, I don't believe everything I see. Um, but I saw in the media where the so-called Native Americans, the $5 Indians, had met up with the Pope, or they were given a celebration for the Pope. What was that about?
There was a lady that put the Pope on notice in the public domain. Because we couldn't get close enough to put him on notice, we had to send the ones that they tried to that they made the contracts with. They didn't make contracts with us. We didn't sign treaties and contracts.
Mm-hmm.
Because those contracts that they was offering went against the moral code of the land.
Right.
So they created $5 Indians so they could have somebody to sign these treaties that we didn't sign and we refused to sign.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they set up the reservations for them and left us in Arkansas, Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana instead of funneling us back to our land. Like they say, the Pueblo natives just poofed off the earth. They just poof, they gone. No. Look, when we go to war, the whole family go. We drop the babies off at Big Mama house. Right? And Big Mama got the aunties and sit there to take care of the kids while we go fight the wars and we leave me at Big Mama house. Well, they hijacked Big Mama house, took her name out and called it the Big House.
Mm.
And labeled our family plots as plantations. Now we don't even want to go home.
So, so my question is, so who helped them do this though?
The Blackamoors.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so
Okay, when you look in the Washington Memorial in D.C., you got a whole bunch of fezes in there. They the ones challenged us to the Conjure War. Them the Elves. And they all are under a death oath. That's why there's a sword on every one of those fezes to not tell us who we was and to replace us.
So they sold us out.
No, they not us.
Oh.
They want to replace us. They ain't never been us. They just look like us.
Ooh, there's some tea here.
The genetic stock of the natives to this land are more closely tied to Polynesians and East Asians than it is to Africans. But that don't mean we don't got African blood, because in the
Right.
Atlantic, we had been doing trade with Africa for thousands of years on the east side of the land, from North to South America. And then we was doing trade with China, Japan, and the other islands um, for thousands of years. And they have these ships. They got ancient ships from China that used to sail over here. They actually have, dating back a couple thousand years. They also have ships from Africans like Mansa Musa who sailed over here. They also got the Pharaoh used to sail over here for vacation, and they got his ship, but we don't got no slave ships. None of them slave ships they told us exist. We can't find none of them.
So when they told us that, because a lot of people be like, "Oh, the Africans," people still really say this. They say that the Africans sold their own people.
That's because from our view, from look at it from our view, not being from Africa, from being from over here, and the motherfuckers look like the motherfuckers they bringing. That's why they saying that. Look at Tipper Tip, and you will understand why they say Africans to sell it. But Tipper Tip doesn't self-identify as being an African. He self-identify as being a Arab. Now the term Arab means wanderer, right? And Elijah Muhammad said everywhere they go, they call mischief and bloodshed. They have no place that they native to because they not native to anywhere on the planet. So they travel the world causing mischief and bloodshed everywhere they go. They go among peaceful people and start conflicts and then offer a solution to the conflict that they started for a fee.
I'm just sitting here like in awe.
Yeah, them niggas look like us, but they ain't us. They heart don't feel like our hearts feel. We operate from a place of love, compassion, and generosity. They operate from a place of hate, misery, and deception.
So my question is, how did they get there to where they look like us but they're not
They,
us? Like, are they mixed up or?
they came here dark skinned, right? They from Nibiru.
Okay.
So Nibiru have all skin tones of people. Now, the respect that they got for each other is closer akin to the respect we have for one another. But the respect they have for us is zero. We pets to them. The ones of us melanated and the ones non-melanated. They look at us as pets and as farm animals to be um um farmed for food. Adrenochrome. Adrenochrome is not the only secretion that they extract. All of your glands produce a different secretion. So under certain conditions, they'll activate a specific gland so that that secretion is the heaviest in the blood. So that's why you need to know what your glandular system is, because it's going to help you understand why these motherfuckers want your pancreas, your thyroid, your pituitary gland. They want all that shit because they all do something different.
And these are people that look like us that's doing this?
Yep. Now, you remember growing up in the church, they told us about it was a war in heaven.
Uh-huh.
And they said that Satan was cast to hell
Right.
and bound for 1,000 years. That was Enlil's son Marduk that was bound in Antarctica. He's no longer there. But his job when he came here was to do everything he can to enforce the orders of the Galactic Council by his father's order. His father was trying to take over Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Marduk didn't want to be here. But you know, mama or daddy tell their kid to do something, what we gonna do? Right?
Yeah.
And he was a high-ranking military official on Nibiru with great skills in military strategy, deception, and he was real proficient in making people lose their mind based on living conditions. This is what they've been doing. So Marduk being chained in Antarctica, Tahuti sent his brother Marduk, who was Enki's son, to Nibiru to secure Nibiru.
Mm.
And they changed the name of Nibiru to Marduk to let us know on Earth that the Marduk we sent to Nibiru secured that so that Enlil can't take both places over at once. He's going to either take over nothing or he's going to take over one of them, but he won't get both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So the Marduk that we sent to secure Nibiru came back as Malachi Z. York. The
Whoa.
Marduk who was Enlil's son, he had people that he could telepathically control as if he was them.
Mm. Wow. I'm blown away right now. I wow.
All this stuff in hieroglyphics and cuneiform, and that's why they didn't never want us learning that shit.
So somebody said in here Arabs. What does that mean?
Arab mean wanderer,
Okay.
but you got different tribes. Like Chaldean mean people of the flame, right? And they are closely related to the Arabs, but they're a different tribal group, and their religion is Christianity Catholic, whereas the Arab religion is Islam. They
Mm-hmm.
follow Ninursin. Ninursin is the one who replaced Alat as the god of the Arab people and became Allah when they switched everything from matriarchy to patriarchy.
Mm-hmm.
Alat was the moon goddess, but now Allah the moon god. I still say goddess because he a bitch ass nigga to me.
Yeah, so I try to tell people that Allah is actually Allah, but they don't listen to me.
That's
Well,
because they don't do no research. They just go by what them Arabs tell them as if it's the gospel truth because he's from the Middle East.
mm.
Them motherfuckers about much educated about Islam as the average Christian over here is about Christianity.
And we know for a fact that's a whole bunch of lies. But you know, it is what it is. There's some truth in the lies always.
Well, if they don't blaze the lie with the truth, you ain't gonna fall for it at all.
Right, facts. If y'all got some questions, y'all can drop them in the comments. I also got a link if you all want to hop in and ask Rod some questions. We decided there was going to be a Q&A because he like, what do you want to do? I'm like, shoot, just come out here. If they got questions, they can ask. And shoot, sorry, y'all. I got to find the link again. My bad. But yeah, there we go. You all can hop in here and you can ask Rob whatever question you want to. If you want to just drop them in the comments and things like that. I'm asking him questions that I had on my mind because I was just like, you know, I know he knows a lot more than I do, and so I want to ask you a question. My other question is, so at this, I saw, we free Larry Hoover. A lot of people definitely on the wave. I wanted to ask, they were kind of pushing, I didn't get to talk to you, but they were kind of pushing the fact that he was saying that he is not GD anymore. So I just want you to clarify and speak on that, because I was able to pick up on the message, but a lot of people weren't. So, and people
Well,
were
that's
asking me.
look, when Larry first got locked up and went to prison in 73, he denounced the gangster disciples way back then. And we know if the masters is observing, you have to come out of a situation and see the same thing you seen going in. That's how you know that it's up.
Mm-hmm.
So the statement that he put out renouncing gangster disciples is nothing new to us in growth and development. Growth and development is a graduated ideology from gangster disciple community terrorists trained by the government to terrorize our own people to, wait a minute, something going on. We ain't gang banging no more. We brain banging.